Now we're going to notice and wonder things about waiting for the biblioburro. Before we begin, remember that when we're looking and listening at to our story, you need to be following our first two letters in the word slant. S meaning sit tall and L meaning lean in. Everybody needs to have their eyes on the screen and their ears open so that you are listening to our story. And as we are listening, you are noticing and wondering. I'll show you an example. Let's look at the book cover. I am going to wonder about this picture. Always start with your sentence frame. I wonder. My example is, I wonder what a biblioburro is. I wonder where the biblioburro is going. He's on his donkey, so he must be going somewhere, right? I'm going to do another I wonder, but this one's going to be in the very first page. Looking at my first picture here. I'm going to create an I wonder. I'm looking at details in the picture. Details are, okay, I see there's a house, it's on a hill, there's some trees. It's nighttime because there's the moon, there's the stars. There's somebody sleeping. I was noticing key details of the story. Now I'm going to create a wonder question. I wonder who this child is. I wonder who this child is. And I can even ask another wonder question. I wonder what she's dreaming about. I know she's dreaming because she's asleep and because it's nighttime. So I wonder who this child is and I wonder what they are dreaming about. Let's see, let's practice. I want you to notice some key details in the next page and I want you to create a I wonder question. Looking at this page, think of an I wonder question. Think. Notice the details. Now I want to hear some of your I wonder questions. I'm going to call on 3 students. Click the hand button to raise your hand if you would like to share your I wonder question. Now I want you to wonder about another page. Let's take a look at this page. Looking at the key details, look at the key details throughout the picture. What is something that you wonder? What is something that you wonder? I'm going to call on 3 students to share their I wonder question. Always remember that you can generate wonder questions by using our wonder wheel. Remember, we have certain words that we use when asking questions. For instance, who, what, where, when, and how. Those are the 5 words that we can use to generate questions. Now, I'm going to read part of the story. As I'm reading, I want you to be listening to the words that I'm reading. Listen to how the words match our picture. And I want you to notice things about the picture. I want you to notice things about the picture. What are some of the key details from what I'm reading and what you notice in the picture? I'll give you an example. Anna has read her book, her only book, so many times she knows it by heart. The book was a gift from her teacher for working so hard on her reading and writing. But last fall, her teacher moved far away, and now there is no one to teach Anna and the other children in her village. Now, in the story, she's talking about her book, the only book that she's reading. Looking at my picture, I can notice a key detail. I notice she is reading a book. I notice she is reading a book. Another thing that came from our paragraph is she mentions her teacher that moved far away. I notice there's a woman here and she's in the bubble. Remember, when there's a bubble like this, it means that our character is thinking or imagining what she's thinking about. So I notice there's a woman here. I can even wonder about this. I can wonder who this lady is. And if I'm asking, I wonder who this lady is, and I read my story, who is this lady? Think. Yes, her teacher. Great job noticing key details in the picture and listening to key details in our story. I'm going to read another part, and I want you to look at the picture, and I want you to notice key details. Let's look at this one. I'm going to read, so remember, you're listening carefully, you're facing forward, and you're noticing things about the picture. Use the key details from what I read and what you see in the picture. Who are you? Who are they? The children ask. The man says, I am a librarian, a bibliotecario, and these are my burros, Alpha and Beto. Welcome to the Biblioburro, my biblioteca. But Señor, Ana asked, I thought libraries were only in big cities and buildings. Not this one, says the librarian. This is a moving library. Then he spreads out his books and invites the children to join him under a tree. All right, so what is something that you noticed? Think. Oh, yes, I heard somebody say, I noticed they all had books. That's a good observation. That's a good notice, and you use the key details from the picture. What else is something that you notice? Ooh, somebody said, I noticed that they're sitting under a tree, just like in Tomás and the Library Lady. That's an amazing notice. What about our text? What are some things that we've heard while I was reading that we noticed in the picture? Think. Yes, somebody says that he mentioned a moving library. And what is the moving library? What do you notice is the moving library? Yes, his burros, his donkeys, Alpha and Beto. What else do you notice about this picture? Yes, you notice that a lot of children are sitting around getting ready to either listen to a story or read a story. I can create a wonder question too. Listen to my wonder question. I wonder what the librarian is reading to the children. Great job, everyone, using key details to generate wonder questions and to also use key details to notice things in our picture and to also make connections of things that you noticed and you heard from when I read the story and if it was in the picture or not. You all have done an amazing job noticing and wondering. Now I'm going to show you how we're going to be practicing how to read fluently. Remember, to read fluently means to read with speed and accuracy. And the only way you can become a fluent reader is if you read things again and again. This, for instance, is going to be your homework. You have to read this part all by yourself. Now, it's gonna be hard, but you need to remember to try your best. The first time's going to be really hard. The second time's gonna be a little bit hard. The third time is going to be a little bit easier. The fourth time, even easier. The fifth and sixth time, even better, because you would have practiced for 6 days in a row. Watch. Someone should write a... Uh-oh, that's not reading fluently. I stopped on this word. That's okay when you stop. Just remember, we're practicing. And after you read it one full time, even with all your stumbles, you can read it again and you'll read it a little bit faster and a little bit better. This is how you read fluently. Someone should write a story about your burros, Ana tells the librarian, rubbing Alpha's nose and feeding more grass to Beto. Why don't you? He asks. Then he packs up the books and is off. Enjoy, he calls to the children. I will be back. Notice how I did not stumble on my words. I read that fluently because I did not stumble on my words. And I read it with good speed. That means I didn't try to read too fast and I didn't read too slow. You're going to be practicing every day for 6 days on how to read this. Your mom and your dad can help you in the beginning with some of those words, and then day by day, you'll be able to do it all by yourself. Next up is our new read assessment for lesson 7. We are going to read the directions. Write a question about the text waiting for the biblioburro using who, where, or what to begin the question. Write the answer to your question after listening to the story. So we're going to use our wonder questions that we generated to generate one new question. So think we can only use who, where, and what. You can create your question by thinking, I wonder where the biblioburro was going. What story was Ana telling her little brother? Think those are some questions that I generated for my new read assessment. What are some questions you can generate? Remember, we're going to write our question here using who, where, or what.